Sneakerheads and basketball enthusiasts alike, this is the Only Lane, and we are back. Before we get into what we have here, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you like what you've seen before, or you like what you see today. Obviously, it's been some time since I've put anything new out. I know I put a video out for the Sabrina 2s, but that video is like a month and a half old. So we'll get right into this, and I'll explain everything at the end, but we are back. These are the KD 17s, obviously, as you guys know, and this is finally the performance review. I actually finished these quite some time ago, and the reason I took so long to get them out is just because I've been busy. I just didn't really want to film. It's like a combination of a couple things, but we can get right into them. I actually did, like, it's been so long, I had to try them on again yesterday just to verify the data that I got, or my opinion that I got. So we can start off with the traction here. For the traction, you have a generative type pattern. Basically, what I assume that means, and that's what they said, what I assume that means is that they kind of had him sit or stand and play on like pressure points. I don't know if you guys saw, LeBron had, I forgot which LeBron it was, but he has like a court on Nike headquarters, and the whole court is just pressure points. And I believe that's what they did to come up with this pattern. You can see the different types of where there's specific areas where there's a little more traction and it's a little tighter, and there's some areas where it's a little looser. I believe that's where they came with this. Well, I will say when it comes to this performance-wise is that, as you would expect on a great court, it's great. It's really amazing. Even on like a decent court, it's pretty freaking good. Now, you talk about a terrible court, you're gonna end up with a lot of wiping. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna end up with doing a ton of wiping. I'm not quite sure why, and to be honest, to me that was one of the main fault points for the sneaker. That like on a terrible court, it just wasn't. It was having a really hard time just picking up traction. As a matter of fact, it was picking up dust instead of traction, or instead of grip, should I say. But we can move on up to what I did feel was a high point of these, which was the cushioning. So for the cushioning in here, you have a 4-foot zoom, and then you have Cushlon. And I've been talking about it recently in my recent performance reviews for Nike. I'm a big fan of Cushlon. I have never really been a huge fan of foam cushionings, and that's just been since the beginning, since I started testing. I don't know. It's been some years now. I wasn't a big fan of foams, and I feel like foams have gotten better and better, and I think that's what the case is, or my feet have just gotten adjusted to foams, and I like them a lot more. But Cushlon is really nice. Cushlon is really nice. What I will say is that the Cushlon on this, or the cushion setup on this, is kind of subtle, so you'll feel times where you don't feel it at all, and not that it's like you're stepping on the ground literally, but like it's like almost like it's not there. And then times where it's like, oh wow, I'm landing and I'm impacting on these shoes, and this feels amazing. And I felt like I felt that more off jumps. So anytime I was going up for a rebound, coming down hard, or going up for a hard layup, and I'm like decently high in the air and I land, I felt beautiful. And I feel like that also, like the cushion setup also affects your ride. So your ride is what I would say is like the transition from the heel to toe as you're running, and even that felt really well. And that is obviously a combination of cushion and lockdown, but that did feel pretty good. So we can move on up to the lockdown, which is exactly what we were just talking about. The lockdown is, to me, is comprised of a couple different factors in the shoe, and that includes the material, the laces, the tongue, and how that all combines together just to keep your foot right in there, even the heel. And I feel like it did really well. For the material above, you got a mesh, and then you have these little things that look like they would be for lockdown that would help with that. And that is inspired, I'm pretty sure I said this in the last video where I unboxed it. That's inspired by the 1998 Air Max Plus. So if you ever look at a picture of those, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see the similarities, because it is actually based off of that. And I wouldn't say that they were helpful in the lockdown, because they're not really that thick. But it does keep the laces in place, and then it is a little stiffer down here for your foot, so it will help you stay on the footbed a little bit, but it's really just for looks. But the lockdown is really well, or the lockdown is really good. I wouldn't say the tongue isn't anything crazy. This cushion right here, or this air bubble right here, which you saw for the first time, I believe, or for me, I saw the first time in basketball on the LeBron sneakers. That was where it was a more pronounced bubble. This didn't really do anything, and it wasn't an area where it was going to do anything as opposed to that LeBron. I believe that was maybe the 17 or the 16. Maybe it was the 18. I don't remember. It was one of those three. Yeah, the bubble didn't really do much, but the laces did perform very well. You know my opinion on, if you watched my videos before, my opinion is always fat laces over flat laces. Flat laces have the tendency to slide because they're flat. So when you tie them and you move it around too much, they will literally just slide off, which is kind of annoying. But these perform very well in regards to all those aspects. And I would say that's it. If you want to talk about wear and tear, I mean, I always put 24 hours in my sneakers. They didn't wear down too much. The lace holder on top, or the top hole, which is what I have to use on a lot of sneakers because I do tie them fairly tight. And if you don't tie them at the top one, you're not going to have the stability that you need. It did wear down a little bit where it is kind of ripped. I guess that's if you're using these for outdoor use or casual use, then I guess. But I actually did play in these outdoor, speaking of, and they did perform pretty well there as well. But that will wear off a little bit. You'll obviously have your cushion stress marks. So I have those all over the sneakers at the bottom here, and that is not a big deal. Like I said, unless you're trying to wear them casually. Even if you're wearing them casually, you're gonna have that. It's just how the cushion works, or how foam works. When you press on it, it's gonna eventually start showing the wear and tear on that. And then I think that's pretty much it on the wear and tear. The laces lasted pretty well. The mesh has lasted pretty well. The glue on all the areas that are kind of important has lasted very well, and I enjoyed them. So in conclusion, if you want to wrap it up, I will give these I'll give the whole sneaker probably like a 7.5. At one point I did put in my notes that these are really good, and I think they are really good, but it's just that one little problem with the traction that you might need a backup. And if you need a backup, then are they really that good? I never want to have to, realistically, if you're getting a pair of sneakers for the year, you never want to have to be like, damn, do I need to bring a second pair? And because of that traction issue, I mean, you can always wipe, right? It's not a big deal. But because of that, it's kind of annoying to me, right? You're paying for that price and you don't want to deal with that. That's why I gave it the rating that I did. But it is a good sneaker. As long as you're okay with just wiping, which you do end up wiping with most sneakers anyways, it is a good performing sneaker. The cushion is very good. The lockdown is very good. Just the traction has that little bit of, if the cord is dirty, you will have to wipe because you will slip and slide in these. Not the worst, not the best, but a good performance sneaker. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, do me a favor, the like button, subscribe button if you like what you saw today or you like what you've seen before. I have a ton of videos coming, like an absurd amount. Like I'm so behind, it's quite ridiculous. I have these right here that I have to put out the performance review for. These, if you know what they are, you know what they are. The Sabrina 2s are actually done, so I have actually put in the 24 hours in those already. I have another performance sneaker that I bought a second pair of that I'll show you guys. I don't even want to give the description of those. Actually, I'll show you. I did say that I was going to get another pair of these, and I got another pair, so I'll show you guys those. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unboxings. 2 of them performance. Two or 3 of them are performance sneakers. So it's a lot. And then I have shorts. It's a lot. So there's a lot coming. If you're still here and I guess you tune in, thank you for that. If not, it's been real. But this is the only thing. I'm out of here. You guys have a good one.